Frode.
Hello. Sorry, I just have to save something here.
Okay.
Is it just the two of us today?
No Dino, no Stan. Unclear about Alexander, but unlikely. But thank you for participating yesterday. I still have not gotten back to make the actual edits, but the edits are still available.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was good. I just have to write one sentence and then you have my full attention.
Okay. We have Gavin.
Hello.
Hello.
Gavin, your microphone seems to be low, or you're far from your microphone.
Oh, okay. I've got it turned up.
Okay, I can hear you. I can understand you. It seems like your microphone is weighted towards the base.
Okay. I am not sure. I'm just looking at my laptop's volume.
It's fine, actually. We can understand you, Gavin.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, really pleased to be joining you guys today.
Yeah, well, as you may know, Dino is not available today. So Thursdays is typically a Poliscopy day, moderated by Dino. So Frode and I are here to continue whatever it is that we want to talk about. And so you're here to talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. And,
right.
Also curious whether or not you've been following along, because yesterday's conversation, I think, was posted. And it had to do with all the things that I was trying to put in context with the various names of projects and other kinds of things that I've been working on.
Yes. Yeah, I've definitely seen the diagram. I must have missed the link to the recording, though.
It's in the Amigos Skype, is it not, Frode? Did you not see it? I think I posted it there.
Not sure.
Well, let me go back. Yes, it is. It was posted yesterday at, let me see. Huh, you're right. I did not post it. Let me go do that right now. It is on YouTube. I thought for sure I did. That's why I asked. Okay, let me go do that. My channel. And Collaborology. Share. Copy. Okay. I am.
I was just going to say very, very briefly, I'm conscious of the fact that I've only been able to attend to the one or two calls. And so, what I'd like to do, if that's all right, is obviously leave the floor to you guys, and then maybe the last 10 minutes or so, just give you just a quick bit about what I'm writing up at the moment for Dino and Alexander, and then something I wanted to share with you, Sam, and then potentially with Frode and other members of the Amigos. As I'm conscious that everyone's got kind of a lot on their plate, but I'm trying to weave something together which could hopefully bring in, well, almost all of what you're doing.
Okay, that does sound good. I think I had proposed tentatively 10 a.m. my time Friday, right? So we still have that time if available.
Yes.
Or we could still use the tail end of today's time. As you
let's do that then. Let's do that. We'll go for 10 a.m. your time tomorrow. And then, because I'll then feed that into my updated draft over the weekend, which I'm intending to send out by Sunday night.
Okay. All right. All of which, of course, is not to mean that you're not welcome here. I'm just suggesting that we also already have some time set up. So don't feel like you have to squeeze things into today if it doesn't fit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe it might be better for you and Frode to if I just come off the call, then I could listen to the call later.
Actually, before you do that, let me do something here, which is to share the version of the diagram that I had from yesterday as we developed it through the call. So do you see my screen right now?
It started. Okay, I can see it now. Yes.
Okay, so you can see the main part of this diagram is substantially different than the one that I sent around on email.
Yeah.
But there's some notes indicated in the green and yellow boxes that were taken and added as a result of the call yesterday. So as you can see, this thing is under development, and as it sort of seems to make sense, Frode and Alexander suggested a few things to include in this ecosystem, and that is, of course, very valuable feedback. I haven't specifically relayed these things out yet, but all of the notes are still here, and so I will be doing that soon, probably today.
Brilliant. So what I'll do is I'll jump off this call and I'll listen to yesterday's, as obviously you were talking through that yesterday, and then I'll listen to your call today with Frode, tomorrow.
Okay.
It's unlikely I can join you guys tomorrow, by the way. I'm not that sure that's relevant, but just.
That is not mandatory. That was a one-on-one scheduled between Gavin and me, Frode.
Oh, okay, that's just fine then.
Likewise, again, no one is excluded. It's just that it was just a special request on Gavin's part.
Yeah, tomorrow's family lunch, so it'll be hard. So.
Yeah. Also, tomorrow at this time, I'm not sure that we have any specific topic. I will see who's available and see if we want to have a conversation. Because as of now, I believe Fridays are not yet themed.
Okay. And Frode, the only reason for reaching out to Sam individually was because I'm conscious of the fact that my draft needs an awful lot of work, and I just wanted to try and get sort of 2 or 3 individual pieces of feedback first before sending out a later draft to a broader audience. If a broader audience is interested in having a look.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you both. And I'll jump off and leave you to it.
Well, Gavin, I hope you enjoy yesterday's call then.
Yeah. I'll be listening to it now. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks,
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. How do I come out of that? There we go. That one there. Thanks.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, Frode.
So this is where we start making all kinds of jokes about him, full well knowing he'll be watching this tomorrow.
If you like, you can start.
Yeah. Right. So on this thing, okay, I just have a question.
Yeah.
The future of citations, would that be something that goes on here? It's something that I think we need to work on within all of this, for instance, but how would that fit? What kind of it, is that a human thing? It's clearly a human / infrastructure / protocol, that's the word. It's not tech though.
Are you suggesting, as was proposed in the Future of Text conference in December, that this be kind of the discussion about the future of links? Remember that conversation?
Yeah, that's another one. That will be the second. Because obviously links are a hugely different thing. You know, you have, sorry, I'm just doing this ice pack, heat pack thing here for my shoulder, and that can go off.
What did Emily do to you?
Yeah, I wish. No, it's gym related. It's my first sports related injury, so I'm very proud of it.
Too much weight on your bars?
Too much. It's the opposite. It's the one where I do parallel bars and I lift myself up.
Yeah.
So it's too much me on the bars. So yeah, that's embarrassing. Right. Yeah. The reason I'm asking is in this kind of a view, do we also want to have the kind of things that we're trying to fix? Because I know that these are, of course, generally projects.
Yes. In fact, let me share one other thing. Do you recall that I have a list of projects related to PFTF?
Yeah. I do.
So there's about 2 or 3 dozen projects there. So I think there's an invitation to say, okay, what else is in the ecosystem? And right now, the diagram as it exists was driven first by what I thought, we needed to create. But then now trying to map it to what everybody else is doing is useful, as you saw from yesterday's conversation. So including all of those couple dozen and still inviting others is, I think, another way to understand what's being done by whom and when and where and how it fits all together. Just like Alexander and you were saying yesterday, we can have a little cloud bubble that says, here's Sam's set of interests, and over here, here's Alexander's set of interests.
I understand, but hang on. Yeah. This is hard for me to keep in my head. So, okay, can you just put a few things down just to help us think? Because
yes.
Okay.
So down here at the bottom, I put citations and feature of links already. You see that, right?
Put them somewhere inside, just anywhere.
Okay, so citations, let's say it's reasonably techy.
No reason behind it. Just put it in there.
All right. Feature of links, I'll put in here somewhere as well. So it'll be a little bit more high tech. And I'll put it somewhere around.
It doesn't matter for the sake of what we're doing now.
Yes, right.
So then you put on just 2 more. One is communication, just the word communication. And just put that anywhere. And then the last one is comprehension. The reason I'm asking you to do this is I know we agree in the group that the reason we're doing most of this work is to help develop higher level of empathy and collaboration. Put collaboration up, actually.
Yes. Okay, good. So I'm going to think about where to put them later, but yes, as you suggested, I just made sure they're on there right now.
Yeah, but just put in collaboration as well, and then I promise to get to my main point.
Okay, so
all right.
Somewhere up here.
Because what I would like to see, can you make a copy of this so you don't lose things just because of my wild suggestions right now?
I can. So let's
have a temp one.
And let me bring it to another blank slate and put it here. And for now, I'm just going to say backup. So go to the previous one, which is not a backup.
Okay. So here's the thing. One of the things we so much agree on, you and me, is that we need to redevelop this piece of software you're doing now. Because what I would like to see, and I'm sure you fully agree, is tool system to human system has a dimension, absolutely. That should also maybe be color coding. Similarly to, is this about communication or comprehension? Not the same focus. Right? So we should be able to choose the dimensions in X, Y, and Z, of course, independently from the color coding and be able to change them any way we want.
Yep, exactly. In fact, I would put them next to global viz now that I think about it.
Well, no, what I mean is not that. Okay. Delete macro and micro. And why don't you call that one comprehension and micro communication, as in don't delete it, I'm sorry. Just put in new ones.
You mean communication here?
No, you remove the word micro, and in its place you type comprehension.
Okay, so let me just overlay this here, right here, for now,
Yeah, that's fine.
and do this for now, right? And I'll
Yeah.
send this to back. How do I send it to the back? This one. Anyway, I'll figure that out.
We just, oh, okay, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Because the thing is, tell me first why we're doing this diagram.
I wanted to show connection and how each affected and influenced and impacted other projects. And it's not necessarily these dimensions, but these dimensions seem to be useful because obviously I span this tool system, human system dimension a lot, okay? And then Doug is all about scalability as well. So various different projects work at, let's say atomic collaboration versus planetary scale collaboration. So I thought that was another useful dimension. Obviously, we can have other dimensions here. For example, degree of difficulty is another one. Another one could be, I don't know, can't think of one right now, but obviously many dimensions could exist in which we actually visualize. And by the way, they should all coexist, right? This is just one way of viewing things. As you say, once we have the DKR all done, these are real objects. We can move them around. We can project them. This is just a projection. So we can project them multiple different ways, and yet the underlying connections still exist.
For us to pay people to code a new version of this, where what we do, each item that goes on has to have values for all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of them, tool system, human system, are here represented as opposites, which of course they're not. I understand why, and I agree with why, but let's say you have author, to take one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I wanted to add author, first of all, I would add my name because I'm the head of that project.
Mm-hmm.
I would add some keywords, words processing, and so on, and
Yes.
iOS for platform and Mac for platform.
Yep.
Similarly, tool system, I would add that as maybe 100%. And then human system, I would probably add that as also 100%. Because if you don't know how to read and write and interact with people, you can't use it.
Even though this is now existing separately from the object, you want to annotate it like that, right?
Yeah, and then also communication, comprehension. I wanted to go through all of these things. And then in here, I would also in a structured way say that Dictapedia is a part of author, but author is also a part, as in they relate to each other, because author can use Dictapedia and it can contribute to Dictapedia, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So you see this link, this little link from author into DKR2, and the link, between Dictapedia and author.
yeah, because once we add it like this, I think we will have our own version of debate graph.
Mm-hmm.
Saying what you should be able to do easily. And I know this is stuff you and I've talked about and thought about for 10, 15, 20 years. So
Right.
I know I'm preaching to the choir here. So we would then be able to specify on either of the dimensions what should be top, what should be bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could also specify that people should be color or whatever the hell it might be.
Yes.
Maybe we should do this before Time Browser.
Object types can definitely be encoded and tagged, however you like. I mean, this kind of a thinking tool I've wanted for the last 30 years, really.
Yeah, me too. And I think I've drawn up many specs for it. I know you have the same. But when I'm looking at your particular use of it now, it seems very clear that it's a very, very powerful use case to develop a specific tool for.
Exactly. Now imagine also, people tell me, oh, can't you do this with mind mapping tools? Can't you do this with debate graph? No, you cannot. Right? You cannot.
No.
It insists on giving you a central node, and then everything else hangs off of that central node.
Yeah.
We want to shift and alter the perspective. Like, for example, I will say, CCC is really a little bit more tool system than others, but I can drag it around this way and everything connects. I can't really do that in mind mapping in the big graph.
No, but the cool thing, Sam, I really think that once we have this system we're talking about, if you drag CCC to the left, it updates its attributes.
Exactly. Because everything's an object. And all the attributes are live.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yes.
But that means, obviously, you have to be careful. Tool system, human system. Are those really opposites? No. In that case, you probably...
It's just one projection, and you can throw away the projection if it's not useful.
No, but what I mean is that by moving CCC node, you are actually reprogramming its attributes.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. So then you have to be careful, because if you drag it from tool system towards human system, you don't actually necessarily mean to say it's less tool system. So then you have a quandary.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's the kind of design thing I think we need to really work hard on.
Yes. Because all of these things are just bootstrapped views.
Yeah.
Bootstrapped perspectives. Obviously, this thing is nowhere near the truth. It's just one way of looking at things.
I'm absolutely not interested in the truth.
Yeah.
There is an article I saw on Facebook today, of all places, where, hang on, I'm just opening your thing up in Photoshop, where some physicist guy says that evolution has meant that our comprehension is really far from the truth, because we have evolved to survive and move around rather than to understand. Well, yeah, duh. Okay, line. I'm just saving something to show you.
Actually, if I look at this, I'm really tempted to flip communication and comprehension here.
All right, but have a look at this. This is really kind of important. I'm giving to in Amigos.
I'm looking now.
So I'm afraid I used the same color, but the point is, CCC now has a line through it, horizontal line.
Wait, I'm trying to open it. I'm downloading it now, and I'm opening it. CCC has a horizontal line. No.
Well, a line all the way, it's a blue line, all the way from annotators all the way. Did I send you the wrong file?
Yeah, it's not in the one you sent me. Again, a versioning problem, right?
Yeah, I know.
Copies are evil, as I've been saying. Perfect case. Copies are evil.
Well, I should be able to just share my screen with you running the same thing, but
actually, can you try doing so? Can we?
I don't have that similar software.
Okay, now I'm opening up your latest diagram. Yes, I do see a line all the way from left all the way to the right.
So that's meant to indicate that CCC actually is entirely tool system and entirely human system.
Yeah.
Right. So those types of visualizations, we can do millions of them.
In fact, we could have different lengths on these things just to indicate that as well, right? Or different kinds of other visual indicator.
Different thicknesses and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. Yes, so, did you close that window, by the way? Because I can't actually see because it's secret on my screen.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So should we maybe start trying to make a system like this? Do what we'll be saying?
It is my dream to do something like this. A thinking tool like this. I'm surprised I didn't include it in my list of projects, but just to give you an indication, I used to have this thing called a spread liner. So it only incorporated 2 out of 3 concepts. It's a spreadsheet, an outliner, and the diagramming tool.
Right.
So let's see where I put this. It's definitely a tool. It definitely includes ways for us to change. And it's a very personal tool. So I'm going to put it right here for now.
Sounds like a very sexy airline.
Oh, bum.
That's the name.
I am not going to follow up on that one. Anyway, so let me change the thing of this. So it'll be there. It's a big one. Put this down here. I have to take the future of links somewhere else. Let's put this here. Okay, that at least gets it on the map. Yeah, in fact, in the 80s, I wrote up like a 5-page spec of what that thing could be.
Yeah.
Now I have to find it. I could recreate it. But this axon thing is the closest thing to it, and this is remarkably simple, and it is yet so powerful. You'd have seen like 3% of this axon tool right now. Did you know that every one of these diagrams, every one of these boxes can be dynamic? You can put a formula on it, and then these connections can actually deliver values between boxes, and you can run it like a simulation. If you go to their website and look at some of their examples, you'd be very impressed.
Sorry, I actually forgot the name. What did you say it was called again?
Axon, A-X-O-N, AKA Axon 2000. But if you look for Chan Bok, C-H-A-N-B-O-K, that's the fellow's name.
What's the name? Is it double X?
No, single X, A-X-O-N, just like a neuron axon.
And then what?
Just look for Axon 2000.
Axon 2000.
Yeah, you'll find it. It's at some Singaporean site called Signet, and the fellow's name is Chan Bok, B-O-K.
There's the Series 2000 Axon point of sale system.
Let me find you the demo page. Let me do that right now. Okay, here we go. Axon 2000. Axon Research. Showcase. I'm going to give you the showcase page. Here it is. And I'm going to put it in the Skype channel. Here's the link, okay? And for the recording, I'm going to say http://axon-research.com/showcase.htm. You see it?
It's so ugly.
Yeah, you're not going to like the visual, but the functionality is very powerful. So it could definitely use a modern aesthetic touch to it. But if you can manage to sidestep that issue, Frode, you will be impressed.
So
on the other hand, your mind is triggered by the visuals, then you'll not be able to get past it.
yeah, you know, I'm a very superficial person.
You and I both.
Right.
But you know, your idea or your suggestion that we possibly build something like this, boy, you know, two ways we can get at the DKR. You know, one way is through the user experience, which is this. The other way is through the foundations of the actual layers of knowledge, which was Time Browser. And I think both are equally valid. As far as what would be more immediately useful, boy, that's a hard one, because to me, both are so extremely usable. As you know, I have hundreds of Amigos and DKR audio recordings, which I'd love to run through Time Browser ASAP, right? So there's a whole lot of value it could deliver right away. And then obviously, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we could do just like this kind of diagram, where if we had a shared ability to do this, so you weren't just looking at my screen, but you can manipulate each of these boxes just as I can manipulate these boxes, subject, of course, to privileges and permissions, grantable. Then imagine the collaborative possibilities. Imagine also the chaos that could derive if we didn't agree to a certain protocol around it.
You need to help me make author and liquid successful, by the way. I need money.
So you want money from me? That's one of the things I have the
No.
least of.
I don't want money from you. I want connections from you because, you know, I want to contribute to a lot of this stuff. But, you know, Emily and I are buying a house. I know you're also tough financial, as everyone else is listening to this call, which is, you know, kind of the privilege of being a change the world type person. But
we're not great capitalists is the problem.
No. I do expect author to be submitted to the App Store for OS 10 next Friday.
Great.
But you know, I need to be introduced to user groups, and my key marketing strategy is very simple: show them to university type people, ram it down their throats as something that exists at version 1, not as an idea, and say, how do you deal with citations? We'll customize it for you. Every time we do, they kind of have to quote unquote sell it to their students. That's the whole thing.
Well, there are definitely groups here that I think you would want to present this thing at. There's a format among different meetups where, you know, you fill an evening of 2 hours or 2.5 hours with 3 or 4 or 5 speakers, each of them giving a very quick 10 to 20 minute demo. And that way it's hard hitting, quick, you know, you understand the idea. That's why your talks were 10 minutes limited. But that way you get a nice variety of things. Nobody's bored by a single speaker. And yet it's, you know, it's possible to draw a larger audience with, you know, 4 or 5 different topics than perhaps with a single one. So there are many of these hackathons / meetups. There's one at the Hacker Dojo. There's others within specific topic themed meetups. As you mentioned, as I've mentioned before, any given week among my set of interests, there's about 900 different meetups here in the Bay Area. And so there's no dearth of places to go and learn and to go and teach and to expose yourself.
Yeah, no, I have to do that. And also we need to, some of these smaller projects technically, we just need to find a way to do them, like the Dictopedia.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's an easy way to add it on a web form, and then when someone is reading a document, if there's an easy way to know whose document it is, then a keyboard shortcut through Liquid, for example, will give you their Dictopedia entry.
Exactly. Imagine that. This is what that fellow means by this term. As opposed to having to take valuable time and valuable space in each document to say, oh, here are the terms I'm using. What a waste.
When you select text with Liquid on the web, and then you copy a citation or something like that, it knows the name of the page. It extracts that.
Mm-hmm.
If we could somehow extract the name of the author, we would be there.
Mm-hmm. Which is not that hard to do, right?
As long as there is a way for the author to say who they are. Maybe we even make it a convention. You say, if you write a paper, it's Sam Hahn colon name of paper in the subject.
Yeah, papers ought to have a protocol by which they cite their authors. Right? A paper object has an associated author object. That's just the way things work.
Let me share my screen.
Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, I mean, the author thing, it's not always in the meta, but desktop, here we go. So let's go, yeah, not here. Okay, here we go. So this is the way Liquid works in this context. Select text. I don't know, that stuff that came out had nothing to do with me. Keyboard shortcut, and that text is now inside Liquid, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I do spacebar, it's copied it as a citation. So this is what it got automatically extracted: web address and all of that good stuff. So if we want to translate, you can do it mouse-wise, or keyboard shortcut T,
Mm-hmm.
English, Portuguese. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I could imagine we could do a similar thing where we do glossary, or whatever we're going to end up calling it, Sam, Han, and boom. Have basically people that you know.
Right. And by the way, if you're reading this, if I'm reading this document, and this document knows that you're the author, and I say, I want to understand what this phrase means, Frode uses this particular phrase a lot. I say sweep that and be able to get immediately to your Dictopedia to understand your definition of it if you've defined it. And secondly, I could say, hey, this is a term that's useful to me. I now know it. And now it becomes part of my Dictopedia. Right?
Have a look at this.
And my entry has a citation. It has an epistemology that knows that this definition came from you, came from your Dictopedia.
Yeah, we can do that. Have a look at this as something. Select text on an unreadable website. Then I choose copy as flow. Right, so it breaks the text up. So I have a little text editor actually inside Liquid, so to speak, right? What we could do easily is to have things like automatically show every glossary entry in brackets after the word.
Yes, you could.
All that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, even Kindle has a version of reading that allows you to look at those definitions.
Yeah, as in it flows out from the word. It's called, what's that kind of a link called? It's called tunneling or something?
I've not heard it in that context, but I don't know if you've seen Kindle's, let's say, vocabulary learning mode, where almost every term is defined by smaller font text just above it.
No, I haven't, but that is absolutely what we're talking about.
Yes. Do you have a Kindle, by the way?
I have the software Kindle.
Yeah, I think you could probably still look at that view in the software version of the Kindle.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go back to your.
So this is useful, and so I would say, in response to your request, come to the Bay Area. We will go to 1 or 2 meetups every night, and we'll help you publicize and spread the word. And if you like, we can even get my son to do a video for you. I know you do a lot of videos, but you're typically not in them. But if you want anyone's assistance in doing that, it would help. And then once we got that exposure, then we could probably get some people to write some blogs about your products, perhaps myself included.
I want you to get a Mac, but don't worry, I know it's not likely.
I have a physical aversion to Macs right now, unfortunately.
You have a physical aversion to good taste.
Hey, let's agree to argue.
Yeah, let's agree to argue. Indeed.
Okay, so what more can we do today? I actually have some work to actually re-lay out that diagram with more of these contributions, which are extremely valuable. So I want to do that. I didn't get a chance to do that yesterday. What else for today? By the way, you like how I start the meeting in darkness and then gradually it gets brighter and brighter behind me?
Very dramatic. Yeah, I have a few things to do too related to this. So yeah, let's talk sometime tomorrow briefly if we can. If not, of course, Sunday, maybe Saturday.
Well, as you know, on Fridays, I'm only available every other week. This week I am available because I do not take Gail to the clinic this Friday. So if you like, we can use this time tomorrow. In fact, I'll probably send around my updated version of this diagram before that time.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Frode. Great, thanks. Bye. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.